We made it. The 2024 NFL season is officially here, with the Chiefs hosting the Ravens tomorrow night, and then the Eagles and Packers headed down to Brazil for Friday night's game in Sao Paulo. It's time for the You Like That Feels Great Baby season predictions show. We got playoff brackets, Super Bowl champs, awards, bums of the year, all coming up. I'm Eric Stenholm. This is Joey Moore. Joey, give us right off the top some of your early impressions of football season as we go towards tomorrow night. The news has been typical. It's been, there's a holdout here, there's a holdout there, but for the most part, we're coming into this season without a ton of drama. I mean, Williams is in camp, Ayuk's in camp, everyone but Jamar Chase and Hassan Reddick has things figured out. What are you thinking going into the year?
No drama other than our first round pick getting shot. Other than that, and everyone just showing up right on time. No drama at all. We're just getting the band back together.
Did you see in one of our fantasy leagues, one of Evan's friends named his team "Shot Through the Heart" and made Ricky Pierce all the logo? I was like, too soon.
It's crazy. I was like, oh, so you're fine, right? So when you coming back?
Week 3?
I guess it has to be week 5 now at least, but it's crazy. You go the whole time, all summer since second week of February to
6.5 months.
I mean, for most people, just nothing sports wise. That's kind of what it is. The gap between the NFL and everyone else is getting bigger. And with college football starting last week and now NFL this week, I mean, it's over. I hope the other sports just
pack up.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because it's just football's back. I mean, that's it. It's
plain and simple. Plain and simple. We've been waiting 6.5 months. I mean, obviously it's different for me as a Viking fan, especially with the McCarthy injury, but Niners fans, I mean, they've been so close year after year for 5 straight years. This is yet another chance, a golden chance to win a Super Bowl. So I would imagine, despite all of the Pearsall stuff and the Ayuk holdout and the Williams holdout and all these situations in camp, you still got to be so excited for this football season. We finally made it. We're 22 hours away from kickoff. I'm so excited. So we said from the beginning of these preview series episodes that we were going to, in this last one, just give you all our picks for everything. So let's just start with the AFC. Basically, we already gave you our records for each of the teams in each of our division previews. So we'll start with the AFC. Joey, based on your records that you gave out, this is what you have it breaking down as in the AFC. The 1 seed Chiefs, the 2 seed Texans, 3 seed Baltimore, 4 seed Buffalo, 5 seed Cincinnati, 6 seed Miami, 7 seed Cleveland. Tell me how your AFC playoffs shake out. Who's going to the Super Bowl?
I got Kansas City over Houston in the AFC title game. I think it's going to be pretty chalk. I don't see it's crazy to see it like this. You see the actual matchups. Some of them are a little bit tougher than I thought they'd be.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think Kansas City is going to be on a mission. I think Houston takes a bit of a step forward, and Kansas City takes the Kansas City Invitational and goes to Super Bowl.
Yeah, it had a 1-year detour where Baltimore hosted, but it still didn't matter. That would be if KC were to get to the Super Bowl again, that would be 5 in 7 seasons. I mean, that's just absurd. Even the Patriots never did that. Obviously, they're the favorite. They're my number 1 seed as well. Kansas City, the 1st seed in my bracket. Baltimore 2nd, Miami 3rd, Houston 4th, Cincinnati 5th, the Jets 6th, and the Chargers 7th. Everybody's going to shit on me for this one, but I am probably as high on Miami as anyone in the football podcast space. So many people are down on them because, they lost a cold weather game in the playoffs last year. The year before they lost in the playoffs, both of their 2 quarterbacks were injured, and they started Skylar Thompson and still almost beat Buffalo. I'm like, I just believe in McDaniel. I believe in that track team that they have there. I believe in the defense. I think it's a really good team. And I think at some point, Kansas City has to have a little bit of a down year here. Like, we keep saying, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Yes, they have this amazing core, but Kelsey's getting older. That defense was so good last year. I think it'll take a little bit of a step back. I still think they're going to go 13-4 and be the number one seed. I just see a scenario where like CJ Stroud goes in and beats, Mahomes in Kansas City. I see it happening this year. I think Houston goes into Kansas City and takes them down in the divisional round. And then I think Miami beats Houston.
You got the Chiefs winning 0 playoff games.
I have them winning 0 playoff games. I have them losing their first playoff game to Houston, to CJ Stroud, to DeMeco Ryans, who I believe in. But then I have Miami winning the AFC title. I can't believe I'm saying that. Miami over Houston in the AFC championship game. Yes, there are lots of Tua detractors out there, but I mean, that offense reminds me so much of The Greatest Show on Turf, where it's like, obviously Warner was a great quarterback, but it was the weapons that made that team. It was the scheme also that made that team. He's got Achane and Mostert, which is fantastic. He's got Hill and Waddle, which is unbelievable. He's got probably the best or second best play caller in the NFL as his coach, and a defense that I think, yes, they lost Wilkins, but they're going to be better than they were last year on the whole with the way they've invested the cap. I like Miami. People are going to shit on me for it.
That's
but
a bold take.
It is a bold. I had to do something bold because I feel like my NFC is pretty chalk. So I got Miami over Houston in the AFC Championship game. Joey also has Houston there, but losing to KC. Let's take a look at the NFC. Joey, based on your season preview pod predictions, you got the Niners as the 1 seed, Detroit as the 2, Dallas as the 3, Tampa Bay as the 4, Green Bay as the 5, the Rams as the 6, and Atlanta at the 7. What's your official prediction there for the NFC playoffs?
Interesting. The way the matchups would work, I actually see more upsets this one. Like, I would expect, if this is really how it shook out, I would expect the Packers to beat Tampa, and I would expect the Rams to go into Dallas and mop them up. And I would say, yeah, Detroit beats Atlanta. But yeah, I have the same thing as last year. I think Detroit comes to Levi's again, and I think the Niners beat them again. I think we're
same as last
again.
year.
I think we needless to say, we're having another Kansas City, San Francisco Super Bowl. Are we saying our picks for that too?
We'll save that for just after, but let's go over mine real quick. My NFC is almost identical. Niners 1, Detroit 2, Atlanta 3, Dallas 4, Green Bay 5, Rams 6, and Philly 7. So basically, I just swapped in Philly for where you had Tampa Bay. So basically the same bracket. Only difference for me is that I think Dallas is going to make the NFC title game. Everybody says, "Oh my God, it's lame duck McCarthy and Dak on a 1-year deal." Both those guys are on 1-year deals, and both of those guys are assuming that they're out of Dallas after. I don't know. I look at the NFC and I say, okay, love the Lions, love Dan Campbell, love the roster. Defense is not great. Jared Goff is Jared Goff. Like, his ceiling, I think, is to be a very good, bordering on elite quarterback, but I don't think he's ever going to win a Super Bowl. Looking at the Niners,
for a guy who a lot of people say that about, he's damn near won too.
I mean,
he could have won. Again, you lose. It's wins and losses. It's black and white. But he. I mean,
first
again,
3 years in the NFL,
could have beat the Patriots he was with the Rams, and I mean, he should have at least got there last year. If I watched another, they were rerunning it. If Josh Reynolds would just catch the damn ball, like Jared Goff played really well. He played his balls off, and I mean, I whether it was the Niners or Detroit,
it's weird too. It's like he has a much better playoff resume than so many of these quarterbacks that we instantly think of as significantly better than him. So it's like, I get it, but there's just something about Goff when I watch him where it's like, maybe it's just because he's not as dynamic. You know, he's not the same athlete, but I don't know. When I watch him, I say, okay, there's a guy whose ceiling is like 7th or 8th best quarterback in the NFL, but maybe it's higher.
Which
I mean, a lot of people.
I hope we don't. I hope we don't have a league where like the 7th best quarterback. We're just talking about this guy has no shot.
That's
like,
true.
Like I don't want to be in a league where like if you don't somehow like have really Patrick Mahomes, really. I mean, the other guys we talk about don't sniff the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Burrow did. I'll give him credit. But again, other than that, he's hurt all the time. So,
Yeah.
like, you can't. It's just like, is this really Mahomes? Is this Tiger? Is this Tiger Woods? Is this Mahomes of the field? Is this where we're at? Because, like, I hope we're not there.
Yeah, you'd hope a guy like Purdy or Goff or whoever.
Even like Cousins. Like, I mean, with whatever team he's been with, I hope a guy like him has a shot. I mean, would he be the favorite, against somebody? No. But, like, could you build a team with him as a quarterback and win a Super Bowl? I sure hope so. Like,
because if not, we got to look at this league again.
Yeah, it's just like acquire the best quarterback and everything else will be scrambled eggs, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, it kind of was like that for Tom Brady for almost 20 years. So the NFL has a track record of rewarding very, very good quarterbacks when it matters. But all that is to say, I still think the Niners win the NFC. I think they beat Dallas in the NFC title game. Obviously, still the best roster in the NFL. It could be the last dance. I'm not going to say it's the last dance. There's they got a lot of contract situations figured out. They kick the can down the road.
That's why I just like, I read too, Debo renegotiate all these people. And I'm like, what's the downside to renegotiate? Well, he just gets a fat signing bonus.
Yeah.
And like, the Jed just has to whip out the cash earlier.
The downside is what happened to the Saints post Breeze, and that's what's going to happen to the Niners.
But I feel like we've been renegotiating like for 3 or 4 years with guys, and like I read today, the Niners have like a ton of cap space. I'm like, how does this work? I should know, being a fan, but I just like I don't know.
Unless they're doing some creative accounting, I know. Essentially, that's what the Saints did year after year. I think it was like 2018, 19, and 20 with Drew Brees. They basically just went to the cap and then started putting these dead cap numbers year after year after year.
They don't go to the cap every year. Like, I guess the cap rolls over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you have unused cap, I don't know.
But they just kept pushing all this dead money, and then eventually, I think it was the 2021 and 2022 Saints both had something like over 70 million in dead cap, and obviously they didn't make the playoffs either of those years. So it's like, okay, eventually that money is going to come due. But I
do think something happened. That Purdy's going from 0 to
60-ish million a year. Yeah, that'll change the equation right there. But yet another year of them having the best roster in football, and nobody's more motivated than Kyle Shanahan to get this team over the top. If they get to the Super Bowl again and lose, he's up there with Marv Levy and all these guys.
I hate it. I hate people who get penalized for
being the second best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you want to say like he needs to win a Super Bowl, fine, but like to say he's like got a black eye, I'm just like,
that's just the way it is with the media, though. Andy Reid was that guy for 15 years.
Remember, they were like, exactly. He easily could have an Andy Reid career.
Yeah.
Like, say the Niners go to another Super Bowl, lose. Say they have a couple more 2 in the next 3 years, and they just mutually part ways. Like, Jed's like, fans are like, want to do something different. Probably Kyle's like, I've done everything I can do here.
Yeah.
He goes somewhere else, and then he gets the next whoever. It just starts racking them up. You can see that happening. It's like LeBron. It's like people are like, oh, he was like so-and-so in the finals. I'm like, he's in the finals every year.
Yeah, at one point he was like 2-6 in the finals or something. I'm like, he went to 8 finals.
Like, you see the team he lost to? You see like the Warriors? Like, you see that team? Kyle's not losing to the like 6-seeded Mark Sanchez Jets or something.
Yeah. The fucking Eli Manning Giants. No, he's losing to fucking Patrick Mahomes. Both
and
times.
Twice he should have won. You want to give him credit or criticize him for like not closing the game up? Heck yeah, I'm right there. But
he gets him there. Like, he's one of the 3 or 4 best coaches in the league. So
they had it again. I really don't want to rehash it, but I just say it again. They had it. the Chiefs had 3 points with like 5 minutes left
in the third quarter. Yeah. Steve Wilkes masterclass.
I mean, they did. He showed that the defensive whatever next season. It's 2024.
We're moving on. Okay, so that means that my Super Bowl is SF against Miami, and your Super Bowl is a repeat of 2019 and 2023 Chiefs and Niners. So give us your pick, Joey.
Yeah, I think it happens again. I think the Chiefs win again.
Oh my God.
Maybe this is just reverse psychology. I don't know what it is, but I can't. I really thought last year was it. I said it multiple times. I'm like, this is what it felt like. This is what it looks like when you like have a legitimate shot to win. I don't mean like compete. I mean, it's like they're by far the favorite. I mean, I thought it was by far.
People forget that not only were the Niners favored in that game, I believe at that 5-minute mark in the third quarter, that they were like minus 450 or something to win the Super Bowl, like huge numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it was 10-3. I mean, I could say it was like 17. It was 10-3 at that point. And I there's things you just forget. It's like I remember McCaffrey fumbled like their first drive, just going right down the field. Christian McCaffrey fumbles the ball. You're just like, are you kidding me? And then I'm pretty sure Ray fumbled a punt. It's just like, oh my God, like you
see it happening again. I don't know. I think take that.
Well, again, if it really is that matchup, I mean, Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Steve Spagnuolo deserves a lot of credit. I don't know who's blocking Chris.
He's now been the defensive coordinator for 3 different Super Bowl champions. You don't do that by accident.
I mean, I love Brock Purdy, but I mean, it's just not against Mahomes. Nope.
Not against Chris Jones.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
So you have KC doing it again.
I think the Niners are just going to be worse just because they're a bit older. I don't think they're going to be as good as last year. I mean, I hope they're. I mean, I thought they were the best team in the league. Do I think they're going to be the best team in the league again? That's hard to do because they had they were healthy for the most part. Although the Super Bowl, Kittle went out, had to get shot up with something. Debo was hurt, but I mean, most of the season, I mean, yeah, of course, he just tears his Achilles in the Super Bowl. Yeah, no, I part of me I'd have to see it. I also just thinking like in a one game winner take all, it's really hard to bet against what the Chiefs got going on.
Yeah. I mean, they have lost a Super Bowl. Tom Brady did lose 3 Super Bowls. I do think it is a possibility that Kansas City could lose this season. Although every podcast I listen to, everybody's picking the Chiefs again. I mean, I didn't even pick them to win a playoff game this year, so I'm going to look like a freaking idiot if that happens. I have the Niners over Miami in the Super Bowl. I
wouldn't mind being in the Super Bowl and seeing anyone other than 15.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? McDaniel against his mentor. I mean, that would be pretty cool. This is a rematch of that Super Bowl in 1984. Exactly. There's another one for that. Would be crazy, right? Track meet between.
But I would
that'd be
think
a party
the Niners with how many big games they've been in, like eventually, again, it's all
the pedigree would pay out. Yeah. I mean,
but again, Tua played a national championship game. I mean, he's not.
Tua led the league in passing last year. Miami led the league or second in the league in scoring. If it's in it, I mean, the way I have my bracket shaken out, they play home game and a home game, and then a road game against Baltimore, who's shaky as shit in the playoffs, and then a home game again, and then a dome.
That would be an interesting game because that game happens in the regular season. I'm like Ravens by 30.
Playoffs game happens in the playoffs. You're like, oh.
I don't even know. It's like if it's cold weather, I'm not super thrilled with Miami, but if it's the playoffs, I'm not super thrilled with like Lamar. I mean, I don't know.
There's so many interesting ways it can play out. Like last year, we got what I think you and I both had Baltimore and KC in the AFC title game. I had Baltimore winning that game, and it just it was like one of those games where it's like metaphysical. Like nothing Lamar could have done would have been good enough, just because it's like the Chiefs basically came into the game with the mindset of let Lamar throw. Just, if he wants to go full Randall Cunningham and 1987 and just run it all over the place, go for it. Nothing's going to happen. We're stacking the box. You're not going anywhere. They begged him to throw it, and he couldn't get it done. And it's like, after I saw that, I was like, why can't Miami beat him? Why can't Houston beat him?
It's just crazy. A lot of it just depends on where the game is, like
who's injured at the time.
Who's in, like.
It's so hard to predict these things, but I mean, we have.
But everyone does it anyway.
Yeah, and that's what sells, podcasts. So we had to do it. All right, let's do some awards quickly before we do Jack the Bum of the Week. We're doing MVP, Players of the Year on offense and defense, Coach of the Year, and Rookie of the Year on offense, because defense is tough. I mean, obviously, I would love to see Dallas Turner win it. I think he's going to be a really good pass rusher, but it's hard to scout that kind of stuff. We don't watch hours and hours of college football every week. So MVP, we both got Mahomes. Let's just get that one out of the way. It's like he's the betting favorite every year. This is one of those where I've almost thought of it like a mutual fund, like just bet it every year and it's going to pay off, half the time. And at plus 350, plus 400 odds, you're just going to make a profit. Just bet on him every year until he's not healthy or Andy Reid retires or whatever. Like, it's such a freaking slam dunk. Yes, I've made the case before on a previous pod for CJ Stroud, second year, unbelievable passer of the ball, team that could be a 12-plus win team. Sure, it's a solid bet.
Second thought.
But, I mean, with the way the things are right now, that unbelievable receiving core he has.
In a weird way, I just think it's like the only thing I feel like I can bet on. Like, it's like them being good. Like, I think it's almost like there's been so many times, like Josh Allen, if you were going to win one, like, feels like missed your chance. I mean, he very easily could win one or two, but just like there's like a trajectory to this. And like, well, most people are like, oh, CJ Stroud, like everyone else, Burrow, Allen, like, it's just like, are you healthy? Like, is your team like
you're making $60 million, so your team isn't as good.
Yeah, it's everything.
And now Mahomes' contract seems affordable.
You're like, oh, exactly. You're like, oh, maybe like a different position. And like, nope, that would have happened last year, but didn't. Like Lamar Jackson, after what they gave him last year, when by all statistical margins, was nowhere near his 2019 MVP.
Oh, not even close. Yeah.
Like, I feel like just this is all subjective. They'll never give him another one. Like, after what? I mean, he'd have to like do a 2019, which very well could. But I'm just saying, like, again, it's like, oh, we just voted you MVP, and then now it's like.
That's why Lamar, I think, is like 20-1 this year, despite always being,
it's like,
4-1, 6-1, 8-1.
Maybe like a Herbert. Okay, you're never in the playoffs.
The longest shot for Coach of the Year is Kevin Stefanski because he won it last year.
Yeah, it's just like, who else? Look, the Niners probably be pretty good. Purdy has decent stats, but again, it's probably damn hard to make him the MVP of the league. I mean, I just don't think that, like, because even if he would have played well, and if they were to beat Baltimore last year on that Christmas night, I still don't think that he would have got it. I just like it's people's, you know what I'm saying? Like
the voters would have been like, "No,
the MVP.
It's a super team."
Like, like we're not making Brock frickin' Purdy the MVP of the league.
That's why these are so hard to bet. I mean, because you're not betting on who's going to be the best; you're betting on the narrative and like what the media is going to say. So it's
honestly,
hard.
If I had a third bet, it might be Jordan Love.
Right. They are all over him.
Like, I same thing. You can almost see the Tua thing, like Purdy. Like, are they really going to make Tua, like, after everything we've seen? Like, is he really going to be the most valuable player in the NFL? Especially with Tyreek Hill, they probably just give it to him.
Right. Just like last year, there was that 1 or 2 week stretch where McCaffrey was the odds-on favorite to win the MVP, and then it shifted. But it's like it's so hard to predict the way people are going to think and vote and whatever. Players of the Year, I have Breece Hall as my offensive player of the year and Aiden Hutchinson as defensive player of the year. This is going off of, I think, Rodgers as he, if he stays healthy and that team performs as people expect them to, I think Breece Hall is the best player on the team in that scenario if he stays healthy. Like, I think this is like the 2009 Vikings where, Brett Favre was awesome, but Adrian Peterson was the reason Brett Favre was so awesome. Is like he took all the pressure off of the old quarterback. I think that's Breece Hall's role this year. I think he's going to go nuts. And then, Aiden Hutchinson, absolute beast. I think he's been limited because the defense has been kind of one-dimensional where he's the pass rush and then they really don't have much in coverage. But I just think that Detroit is so good this year that, like, say they go 12-5, 13-4, whatever we have them going, you're going to pick a player from one of the best teams. So I'm like, why not Aiden Hutchinson at, I think he's like 11-1. Who are your players of the year?
I got Tyreek Hill because he arguably should have won it last year. I think they're going to have another no reason to think they don't put up humongous numbers. I got TJ Watt for defensive player of the year because I also think he got screwed. There's just, you look at the numbers of him and Myles Garrett, again, narratives. It's like,
right,
he's already got at least one, if not two, right?
Yeah.
Like, to give him a third potential, like, and then Myles Garrett, same thing with like Micah Parsons every year. Like, is this the year he wins it? I'm like, we'll see if they want to give it to him, but
it's much more narrative than stats, which is kind of crazy, but those are so hard to predict. Coach of the year is a little bit more fun. I have Raheem Morris just because in my predictions I had Atlanta at 11-6, and I think that's good enough to get him that award.
This is the award that just goes to the best team you thought was going to suck. I got D'Amico Ryans. I don't think they're going to suck. I think they're going to be really good. But
you have them going like 12-5.
I think
the number.
Plus, again, narrative. He's got good vibes.
He should have won it last year. Like, good on you, Stefanski, with the quarterback injuries. It should have been D'Amico Ryans. We thought that the Houston was.
To be honest, it probably should be like Andy Reid every year, but we don't do it like that. He's never going to win it, or has he?
Well, I don't know if he has, and I don't think Belichick ever did either. It's just like it's based on preseason expectations. Which,
like, what does a guy like Andy Reid or Kyle Shanahan have to do to win Coach of the Year this year?
Oh, Belichick did win it.
17-0?
Belichick did win it for the 17-0 season. So you got to go 17-0 or maybe 16-1. I think Ron Rivera won it for the 15-1 Cam Newton MVP year. You have to do something nuts. It's so stupid. It's trying to bet on sports writers' feelings, which is hard to do. Rookie of the year on offense. We both have quarterbacks. I actually bet this one. If you can't tell at home, I have COVID and I'm nasally as hell. I spent like 48 hours stuck in a hotel room, just taking all the free money that they give you in New Jersey on sports betting and just putting it on shit and seeing what happens. And one of the things I did bet on long term was Jaden Daniels to win Rookie of the Year at plus 550. It's down to like plus 375 now. He's older. He's been playing football longer. He's in a situation now with Cliff Kingsbury where they're just going to air it out and chuck it all over the place. And there's like no pressure on him. Like, nobody's like, Washington has to win this year. Like, nobody gives a shit. It's not like, you're going to pick Caleb Williams, but like that dude's got so much pressure on his shoulders. I feel like Jaden Daniels can just kind of wing it back there and just fling it around.
Yeah, the only thing I'm really concerned about him is his health. He's a very thin guy.
And an upright runner, as I saw in the preseason, which scared me.
If Anthony Richardson can't stay in a game, and he's built a little bit bigger. I'm going Caleb Williams. My brain says to go with Jaden Daniels, but I'm thinking like narrative with Chicago. If he does the first ever 4,000-yard passer and they're like a decent team, he's going to get the votes.
If he throws for 4,001 yards and they go 9-8, it's him.
Like, Jaden Daniels maybe have the same numbers, but again, it's going to go to stupid. Like, if they're 5-12, like it is. It's just it's completely. This was entirely like. I already feel like it almost feels like they want to give it to him already.
Right.
It's like, okay, so if you just
he's plus 130. He's already right around.
You have a halfway decent year.
Yeah,
he's getting it.
And I think they're basically saying there's so much pressure on him. If he just performs the way a number one pick should, it's his. So it's a solid bet as any. So there's your predictions for season long awards for the Super Bowl. We gave you like in-depth team by team and division by division previews the last 4 weeks. So just wanted to round it off there and give you the final season predictions that we have. Let's go to America's favorite segment, Joey's Jack and the Bum of the Week. Only a few candidates this week. I put Jamar Chase on there. This whole fiasco with him and Zach Taylor jumping the gun on saying that he's going to be back, and now he was in uniform today, but they still say he might not play on Sunday. Very strange situation where clearly, he reportedly asked through his agent to be given the Justin Jefferson contract with 1 penny more on it. I'm like, what a petty, strange thing to do. I get that. I think he's under contract for like $4.6 million this year and $21.5 million next year. He's like, he must think that he has some lingering injury, because I wouldn't be taking these massive fines and possibly missing games if I wasn't like kind of worried that I wasn't going to get that big deal. So strange situation there with Jamar Chase. Gerard Mayo would have been my pick if I was doing the Jack and the Bum of the Week. This whole thing where he said Drake May outplayed Jacoby Brissett, but I'm giving Brissett the job anyway. It's basically him saying the quiet part out loud, which is, I want Jacoby Brissett to get beaten to shit for 8 weeks so that Drake May doesn't develop PTSD. You're not supposed to say that part. You're supposed to say, we want a veteran leader in Jacoby to show, Drake the ropes and get us out there and get some wins and really get a jump start on this season. No, he said Drake May outplayed him. Why would you say that? Stupid move by Gerard Mayo in his first season as coach there in New England. And then another candidate here, all these people hyping the Bears, especially if you're a Bears fan or if you're in Chicago media. You are doing to Caleb Williams and the Bears brass there what you've done to almost every iteration of the Bears for the past 50 years. Just pump the brakes a little. Try to let it happen organically. You keep hyping them up and saying they're going to win 10, 11 games and win the division and go on a playoff run, and Caleb Williams is going to easily win Rookie of the Year. He's an MVP candidate. Oh, my God, Odunze might be the next, Jerry Rice. Oh, my God. It's like, pump the brakes or this thing's going to go off the rails real quick. So those were some other candidates. But, Joey, you're going off the board.
Yeah, I really like Gerard Mayo pick too. I didn't pick him, but yeah, I saw that. I was just losing. It's not losing. I don't want to say losing, but it's just like, what a stupid thing to say. Football of any sport is like, the sport that's like, if you play on merit, like if you, and to say that and it's like, yeah, like, I wonder what Drake may think. You probably don't forget about that. Like,
yeah.
So I play well, but like I don't play. But yeah, I'm going with this Brazil game. I think it's pretty cool. They got a game Friday after. Hey, like what are people going to do? Watch something else? Like, of course they're going to watch, even if it is on Peacock. But yeah, I don't know. I some of this stuff is a little overplayed. Going all over the country, going all over the world to play football. Like, I get London, I get some, but like some of the stuff, like players like worried about their safety, like.
Yeah, AJ Brown coming out and saying that he was advised by his agent and his team to stay in his hotel the entire time he's there, his hotel room the entire time he's there, other than when security comes and gets him to go to the football game. Like, that's kind of crazy.
I have no clue if this is true. It could be complete fake news. But I heard something about like they can't wear, like that's why Philly's wearing black, like the color green, like they can't wear it. Like it's like it could be a problem. So why the hell did we send Philly and Green Bay to this game if green's the problem? I don't know if that's complete baloney. I have no clue. But like I saw that somewhere. I'm like, no, that can't be a thing. No way. But I'm like, why? I'm pretty sure it was announced Philly's wearing like black jerseys or something. I'm like, huh, weird. Like, I don't know. I
A
don't get
lot about this game is rubbing people the wrong way. First of all, it's on Peacock. Nepo baby Noah Eagle is going to be the announcer. The
it's not
game in
gonna be
Brazil.
Tarico. Oh, I guess Tarico's doing the.
Yeah, Tarico's doing the big one tomorrow night. This stadium, Arena Corinthians, this is where they opened the 2014 World Cup. It's an awesome stadium, and it's going to be really cool to watch on TV. The view is going to be fantastic. But the one thing that has always plagued Brazil, they had the World Cup there in 2014, the Olympics in 2016, is like it's just not safe in most areas around these stadiums. Like, yes, parts of Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro and these big cities in Brazil are like fun and beautiful and vibrant, and like people come from all over the world to see them, but they're also like one corner away from the worst poverty and crime that you could possibly imagine. And it's like the whole situation with Pearsall in San Francisco, people shit on San Francisco so much for that, and they should. There's lots of problems in San Francisco. Multiply that by 1,000, and you have what you see in the favelas.
It's just
in
unnecessary.
Brazil.
Just so unnecessary. Like
this isn't that they used to do NFL games in Tokyo. They do them in London. They do them in Munich. This is different.
Like I'm pretty sure. Like I don't know. If people will watch the game, like if the goal is to grow the game, like, are people really going to go to this game and be like, let's love football? Or I like if you're in Brazil, live there or whatever, like I like, does it really having the game there, does it grow that much? I don't like if English, like the English Premier League's playing games, do they play in America? Or I know they send
They
teams
play like
here.
warm-up games.
Yeah.
Their preseasons are now in the US.
But like
Asia.
no game that matters.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, send like whatever, Liverpool and Arsenal or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they play a meaningful game in Miami, in New York?
No. Only in their home stadiums.
And it's like, yeah, we got the Packers, Lambeau Field, or we got Philly with the Link. Pretty cool venues.
We had a situation last year in soccer where the I believe it was the Spanish Super Cup, Real Madrid against Barcelona, was moved from Madrid and Barcelona to Saudi Arabia for money reasons. People have gone to prison over that. Like, why do we keep doing this? Like, sure, maybe one international game every few years. I would love that. I think that'd be really cool. It'd be like, oh, they're going to Brazil. If this was a one-time thing over the next 5 years, and then 5 years or 4 years from now, they're doing a regular season NFL game in London. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Oh, then they're doing one in Paris. Oh, that's cool. This thing where we're doing 5 to
6
10.
or 7.
Ooh, way too much. Way too much.
It dilutes the thing, and it's just like, yeah, I mean.
And it's their wet dream to have like 4 foreign teams, get the league to have 36 teams with 4 of them being in London and Brazil and Australia and what. This is America. Like, we used to be such a great country. Keep it here.
Like, yeah, and like that matters, right? Like the English Premier League, like they're like, no, we play this and we play football in England. That's what we do.
That's why it's called the English Premier League.
Yeah,
because they play in England.
Yeah, I'd like. And
if
they hurt for fans.
If the NFL was like soccer, where say there was a Mexican football league and a Brazilian football league, and they were remotely comparable to the NFL, sure, absolutely, have teams play each other from those leagues. But there's only one country that plays this sport. What are we doing?
It's just logistically, it doesn't even make sense if they were to. I don't.
By the way, there was this situation recently where Twitter was outlawed in Brazil. So anyone that goes down there to cover the game won't be able to tweet. So that just came out the other day. Another reason to be like, this is kind of a shit show. Like, I don't know.
Honestly, I wouldn't blame a player if they're like, I'm not going.
Yeah, they let them opt out of the COVID season. Why not be like, you know what? I'm gonna wait for week 2 where we play in Carolina.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary.
And yet another money grab from Goodell. Also, I believe the NFL said this, multiple times over the last 20, 25 years. They have scheduled many games on Saturday, many games on Thursday, many games on Monday. Fridays were sacred to the NFL. That was high school football owned Fridays, and they were never going to touch it. Goodell's like, couple extra bucks. Fuck them kids. Classic Roger Goodell. Let's go over to the You Like That pick of the week.
They're taking over.
Yeah, they want Wednesday. Watch out Wednesday. They're coming for you. Let's go to the You Like That picks of the week. We're finally to the regular season. Get to do 5 picks. Get to do this normal style. No futures picks, just regular football. First pick, Kansas City -2.5. This isn't going to be the Kadarius Toney game again. The Chiefs are going to handle their business in the first game of the year, so give me that. Going with my Miami favoritism on this pod, Miami -3 against the Jags. I think this line should be like 4.5, 5. They're just so much better on offense than the Jags are. So give me Miami rolling in that one. Tennessee +4.5 at the Bears. Not saying the Bears are going to lose, but as Joey Moore would say, tight butt central there in Chicago. If there's an early pick from Williams, if there's a fumble, if there's a Will Levis long bomb touchdown, watch out for just a complete reversal of all that excitement there in Chicago. So give me Tennessee +4.5. Dallas at Cleveland with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. Dallas is +2.5. I was surprised. I thought Dallas would be favored by 1 or 2. Give me Dallas +2.5 there. They're just better than Cleveland. And I think Dak will have a good game in that one. And then Washington +3.5 on the road at Tampa Bay. Early test for Jaden Daniels. I like the Commanders to cover there. I just think it's one of those games where the rosters, I think, are pretty darn similar. Give me the team that's a little bit more dynamic and playing for a new coach. So here are my picks. Kansas City -2.5, Miami -3, Tennessee +4.5, Dallas +2.5, and Washington +3.5. Joey Feels Great, baby, your wildest take. We talked about it earlier. I mean, it's not necessarily a wild take, but it's just like something that you want to hammer home to our listeners.
Yeah, not a wild take, but it's sure as heck what I feel the best about. And this is the Chiefs league, and we're all just playing in it. I do. I think they win a third time in a row, which
never been done
before. And as crazy as it is, we thought like Belichick, Brady, Patriots. I mean, I think my bigger take could be like I think they're gonna overtake them for like the greatest dynasty.
Ooh, you think Mahomes can get to 7?
I don't think he needs to get to 7, but he sure as heck could. Like he's already at what, 3? Feels like more.
Yeah, he's got 3.
3. So
Brady won 7 and went to 10. Mahomes has 3 and has been to
like I think
5?
the Patriots might be longer. Like they were like 20 years, right?
Right.
I think the Chiefs might win more quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean,
because for the Pats, it was 2 eras essentially. It was
you had like
01 to 07, and then like 14 to 18.
Willie McGinnis, Ty Law, you had like, and then
Eddie
you had
Bruschi.
like, and then you had like, him with Edelman, Welker, Gronk, like you this one could be this group. Like I mean, Andy Reid, Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones. Sprinkle in. I mean, it's crazy now. It's like sprinkle in Tyreek Hill. Like he was on the team. Like, damn.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Like,
he was pretty good.
Like, always solid offensive line, defensive line. Just their defense now. Last year was really good. I don't know. I just, in a weird way, Mahomes feels more unbeatable than Brady. In a really weird.
It's because last year they were so bad. When they lost to freaking the Raiders on Christmas. We wrote them off. We were like, this.
I'm like, they're bad. I'm like, they're bad. And
it didn't matter.
And they beat what I thought, the best team in football record. Like, I thought the Niners were it. And like, it was just like, damn, couldn't pull it off.
I thought Buffalo was going to beat them. I thought Baltimore was going to beat them. I thought the Niners were going to beat them. It's just never happened. So disappointing.
Like they had a home game against Miami in the freezing cold. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Then they go at Buffalo, beat them.
Yeah.
Like they finally played road games. Didn't
Yeah.
matter. Didn't matter. I don't know. I
It's
just
Kansas City's league. So
like
I
their
mean,
weapons are only going to get better. I mean,
it feels kind of NBA-ish, where it's like it's going to be the Cavs and Warriors every year, like that era, where it's like, man, what's the point of watching?
but we do.
But we do, and we bet on it, and we play fantasy football. That's our love of the game, folks. Let's close the pod. We try to do a quick one this week since, we've already previewed the whole season. So we just want to kind of look forward to week one. I'm super excited about that. One thing I wanted to talk about before we close the pod is I'm going to 2 of the final 5 A's games in Oakland. My brother got a luxury box for us for the when they play the Yankees in a night game. That's the 5th to last game at the Coliseum, and then I got us tickets for the final game. And I just wanted to discuss this with you real quick. I think obviously it's going to be extremely emotional for me, for my family, for my friends, for A's fans in general, knowing that you're losing your team and you want to go to the Coliseum one last time and see a baseball game. And, people are going to cry. People are going to be really emotional. It's like getting your heart ripped out. I think people are discounting how crazy that final game is going to get. So that game sold out in advance, which that never happens for an A's game. Even back when
It's
it
not
was,
going to be a baseball game. It's going to be
it's going to be a mob, dude. Like, and I bought those tickets thinking, oh, me and my mom and dad and uncle and brother, we can all say goodbye to the Coliseum and be like, goodbye, Oakland A's. Like, this was such an important part of growing up in the East Bay, and it's going to be so sad, and it'll be like a memorial. I'm like, no, like maybe it will be for a little bit, but they're giving away these replica Coliseums that are like that big for folks watching on
why
YouTube.
are they giving that away?
Oh my God, it is going to be
I don't mean like them to like throw them on. I mean just like it would take
bashing
your
other
team, but
people.
like here's the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah, here's the stadium that we're leaving and the city
Yeah.
we're abandoning. No, it's just the level of ill will towards the organization, not the players, which the team has actually been surprisingly pretty good this year. And there's a core of young players emerging that are probably going to make the playoffs in the next year or two, which is really sad. But like the level of animosity is at a 15 out of 10, and it has been for a long time. And like all of the diehards are going to be at that game. There will be 0 casual baseball fans at that game. It's only going to be the lifers, the Oakland lifers, the Black Hole Raider fans, the We Believe Warrior fans, the A's fans that have been in the left field bleachers and right field bleachers, and Banjo Man, and all the guy that screams pizza, and all of these like psycho lunatics that we've met over the years. It's only going to be those people, myself included, like people that are
Is it a day
obsessed.
game?
It is a day game. It's a 12:30
Oh, just
Thursday
a classic
businessman
Thursday,
special.
12:35 or 12:37.
Yep.
What the hell it is now? Like
Instead of 6,000 fans at that game, it's going to be 50,000, and
it's going to probably be like that day game, that game 162 against the
Rangers, except with anger instead of hope and happiness. No, I want to be one of the first to call this out before it happens, because I want to, not only do I want to prove that I'm right on this, but I just want to get it on the record as like one of the biggest A's fans in the world. Like, it is not going to go how people think. Like, it is going to be a major disaster. Like, I think their plan is to open the stadium gates 3 hours early. They always open it an hour and a half early. So they're opening the gates 3 hours early. I think they're opening the parking gates like 5.5 hours before the game. People are going to struggle to get in the game because the A's are going to purposely understaff it. So like thousands and thousands of people are not going to be able to get in by the first inning. They'll probably get in like the 5th or 6th inning. There's going to be altercations between fans and staff, fans and security, fans and cops. Probably, I mean, 15 to 20 people running on the field during the game, maybe more, maybe 50 plus projectiles thrown onto the field during the game. There is a serious risk that this could be like the Malice at the Palace on steroids. And I'm so excited for it, to be honest. Like, fuck John Fisher. I want to see this devolve into chaos.
Like, yeah, I know, but like, what? He's not even going to be at that game. You're not even going to care.
Yeah. But people just want to let the anger out in that the East Bay has lost everything, Oh, we have the ballers and the roots and the soul. Who gives a flying fuck? I'm so tired of that on Twitter. Just like, look at the ballers who averaged 1,600 fans a game this year.
I'll be honest, I'm shocked they get that much.
And Forbes values them at $1.6 million. Pioneer League independent baseball, second tier men's and women's soccer. That's what we have in Oakland. This, excuse me. I do have COVID.
No, like I don't know, like it. What? How do you think you're going to be?
Oakland is a city with 10 championships. We are not small time.
I never seen them.
We are not small time. This is such horse shit. No, I'm going to be as emotional as fuck.
Really?
It's just going to be.
I mean, I'm not like, yeah, but I just like this feels like the slowest.
That's the only reason that it's not so visceral for me, like where I'm going to scream and cry and throw stuff.
Like compared to like, I don't know, because like I would say the Coyotes too were like, I did not see this coming. Like,
yeah.
But
the Nationals and the Rams and the Chargers.
That happens so like it's like, oh, like yeah, stadium, like they had a stadium vote or something, or a land vote. I remember Arizona did like sometime in June at the time. But then like all of a sudden one night they're like, nah, they got like 2 weeks to figure it out, or like they're done. Like they're in Utah like next week. Like that was like, damn. This
has been a 3-year long.
Even them too, like I'd be like, the Coyotes, like you guys have, I mean, look, as a fan, it doesn't hurt anymore, but I'm just like taking the shock of it. Like
I think what sets this apart from a lot of the other ones is, let's look at all the recent ones. Okay,
they've already got steamrolled by like
the Coyotes,
Raiders, the Warriors. Like this lost them all.
Well, that's the thing. The Coyotes, not a prestigious organization. The Nationals, formerly the Expos, not a prestigious organization. The Rams, originally from LA, just moving back to LA after they were taken from LA to St. Louis. You look at the Chargers. I mean, they have basically no foothold here in LA, but they're not a prestigious organization. This is a team that from the moment it moved to Oakland in 1968 was one of the best franchises in baseball. They won 3 straight World Series right after moving to Oakland. They were the best team in baseball in the late 1980s. They were, again, the story of baseball in the early 2000s to the point where they made an Oscar-winning movie about it. This has been an organization that has been owned by 2 of the worst owners in the history of American sports, and yet has still won on the field and made all these notable personalities and, famous for their fans. Just, it's an iconic franchise that you don't see them move that often. And now this is 2 of them, the Raiders and the A's, leaving Oakland in a 5-year stretch. It's just like, these Oakland fans, you thought they were mad when the Warriors left, which was assuaged. Yeah, I mean, they're still here. You thought they were mad when the Raiders left.
The Raiders had already left.
Yeah, they're going to be so mad when, I mean,
I don't just be like, yeah, I don't know, devil's advocate, I guess. Like, it's just like, yeah, the A's are interesting because, like, they have had a lot of highs. A lot of them.
Yeah.
I never seen most of them. They're all before I was alive. But like for not winning a championship, pretty high. Yeah. The movie, the Moneyball thing. I mean, they had a lot of really good teams.
2019, they drew 2 million fans and had 55,000 in the stadium for a playoff game. And then now
but at the same time, like, I mean, as you know, I mean, they've had like some of the like just shit.
The lowest lows.
I mean, like the stadium has been a joke, like everyone's ever said. Like everyone makes fun how no one goes. Like it's just weird. Like I don't know. Like
the owner from Major League.
I'm just trying to think. Like if I'm a diehard, like I don't know, like a random team, Tigers fan or something.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about the A's. Like I really don't. Like like it's just like. I don't know. Like that's just
the thing is, you watch
that's like almost the worst part. Like the worst part is I don't think other people care.
The broadcasts, though. I mean, this is the thing is like, and I see a lot of this because I'm on A's Twitter, but like almost every opposing team's broadcasters, when they play the A's, bring up the situation. And to a fault, every single color commentator is like, this is a travesty. What's going on here is a joke. This is one of the best organizations, it's just been run by the worst people. You see, I know the Orioles, Tigers, Rockies, several other Royals broadcasters have all said stuff that if the A's broadcasters said it, they would be fired before the commercial break. And it's like, so, frustrating is that everyone in the league sees it.
I was like, no, the A's broadcaster was fired for something else.
For something different altogether. Oh, man. And replaced by possibly the worst broadcaster in the history of Major League Sports, who has been just an absolute joke. Chris Carey's been okay. I mean, I like
he's been okay?
Yeah, he's been okay. I mean, he's young and he makes a lot of mistakes, but he's got the pipes and just
all aboard Pound Town.
Yeah, he knows what to do. This Jenny Kavnar lady I wanted to like her because it's such a historic hire, but like 3 games into the year, I'm like, oh, she doesn't know the basics. Like the very first play that she called this year was a fly out to center field, and she called it a home run thinking it went over the fence, but JJ Bleday caught it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a long year. But anyway, like I just wanted to bring this up because the overarching feeling for me is like, I hope that there's some miracle. I actually sent a question to Tim Kawakami for his athletic mailbag, and he did answer it last week. I was like, I'm an A's fan that just give me that 0.01% hope that someone, probably Joe Lacob, could come in and buy the team and keep him in the Bay Area. And Kawakami was like, you can't buy something that's not for sale, and Fisher will not sell the team. So I was like, okay, that door is closed. Thanks, Tim. Like, wow. So, I mean, it is over, and it's going to be so emotional. I wanted to get that out there.
To be honest, I hope they have I don't know. I hope for people, I hope it's not a complete gong show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do want people to because you're giving me the impression like we don't even know if we're going to finish a baseball game.
Nobody's going to say that. They're going to say it's going to be emotional, and there's going to be, they're going to show all the fans crying in the stands when the game is over. Like, that might happen a little bit. That's not going to be the story. It's going to be like disco demolition night at Comiskey Park. Like, people don't know Oakland. Like, it's going to be not going to be violent, but it's going to be uncomfortable for a long time. So I just, I'm really excited. I can't wait to see it
again. You got the ones like behind the dugout still, or?
Yeah, we'll be right behind the A's dugout, 6 of us, and it's going to be awesome. But we'll have an up close and personal view of, if all those fans who've always been like, I would never charge the field, but maybe if I don't know.
This would be the time to do it.
Yeah. Oh, man, this is the time
to
do it.
You'll never go to a game again. Like, you'll be banned from MLB.
And also, I've been to, since Fisher essentially pulled the plug at the start of the 2022 season, and he cut all staff, he cut all salaries for players to bare bones, and the team's been awful. You go to these games, there's like 40 people working at the Coliseum, like 12 vendors at the stands, or at the hot dog stands and shit, maybe 5 vendors going throughout the seats, and then like 20 security guards. Like, you're going to have 50,000 people there. You sold the tickets. Like, you better have people working there. By the way, all of these people that work there, they know that's probably their last day of work. I would call in sick. Like, if I know that's my last day of work, I'd be like, peace. Like, we got this. It could be a situation where you got 50,000 people trying to get in, and there's only like 20 people working at the stadium, other than, players and the opposing team's security staff. It's going to be nuts. I'm just telling you right now. It's going to be one of those Malice at the Palace moments just waiting to happen. But
Malice at the Palace though had like players fighting. You know what I'm like?
I just think there's an opportunity for the game to get abandoned.
Like
I
just call it off in the top of the fourth.
Like, yeah, we're in the 7th inning and it's the 19th time they've had to pause the game because someone ran onto the field or someone threw something on the field or someone spray painted something vulgar on the scoreboard or something. Like, I can totally see like someone, that ledge in the outfield, someone jumping onto that and being in the field of play, or, the
You mean like on
manual.
top of the scoreboard?
Yeah, the manual scoreboard, he like
Yeah.
spray paints "fuck Fisher" on it or something. You're gonna have shit like that. Like, I'm telling you, man, I can't wait for it just because I got to see the spectacle. But I wanted to bring that up before we close the pod. So, congrats to everybody on making it 6.5 months with no football. It finally ends tomorrow. Thanks for listening, watching, rating, and subscribing. We'll be back again after the Niners Monday night game against the Jets to discuss how week 1 went, preview week 2, and really get into the football season. Thanks, everyone, again, for listening to the You Like That Feels Great Baby podcast. We will see you next week.